We're going to be serious.
All right, if you say so.
Yeah, serious.
Hey guys, welcome to Free Spirit Talks. I am Addison Bell.
And Kendall Williams.
And we decided to jump on and do a Free Spirit Talk today. We were just in the mood and we have not done one in a while, and so decided...
Our last Free Spirit was... What was our last Free Spirit? Did we do a Free Spirit when we were in Santa Cruz? We didn't do a Free Spirit Talk while we were in Santa Cruz? You know why we didn't
We kept talking about it. We were having too much fun.
That's why, yeah. No, that's true. That's because
too much fun.
That's because we were ziplining and getting wet in the rain.
We were very, very wet in the rain.
It's very, very wet in California. So, yeah, but we did have every intention of doing a Free Spirit Talk then. I cannot get comfortable.
And we just went with the flow. We flipped sides, and we're like working through our comfort zones here.
Yes, yes. And I might throw in the towel and go, all right, get your ass over, get your butt over there and let's swap. So, no, all right, I can do this. I can sit in this chair. I'm going to pretend that I am Addison Bell.
No, please don't. And our topic for today is, so we were sitting here kind of going, okay, what do we want to talk about? What's really, not just what we want to talk about, because usually our Free Spirit Talks very much come from an authentic place of like what's kind of going on. And we're talking about kind of some of the things that have been coming into both of our worlds lately. And I know for myself, I'm not going to speak for Kendall, but this feeling of like in certain areas being like, I like getting to a point at times of being like, I just want to throw in the towel. And not really meaning it, not really like still having that desire, but just having that ego moment of like, I'm done with this, I'm done with this.
I'm done.
Having that, and it really is truly an ego moment. And so we wanted to kind of bring that to you guys, because I don't think we're alone. I know everybody has these moments when they're just like, I feel done.
And I think that it's even more prevalent right now, because I have just heard so many people talking about throwing in the towel, just being done, just
supposed to be sharing.
Yes, she's supposed to be sharing.
Falling down the job.
There's so much turmoil, I think, going on.
Yeah.
In the front end of this year, which is amazing to me. Here we are, we're entering March in just a couple of days, and before we know it, it's the first quarter of the year is just gone. And what I've witnessed is so many people struggling financially, losing their jobs, different health things coming up, just as like all of that. And I think that when the statement that keeps coming through, even in my personal life, it's just like, how much can you actually handle? How much can you really hold space for? And it just feels like, just earlier today, because a family member of mine just made the statement of, life is really just not being kind to me right now. Like, life is not, that is the statement that I keep hearing, is life's not being kind to me right now. How much more does God think that I can handle? And it's because there's so much, but that pressure, and I think that goes into kind of throwing in the towel. We feel this enormous pressure on us. And when you get to that point of just like, oh, there's so much, there comes a point where you just go, I'm done. I am done. But I think the throwing in the towel, and to our title here is to let go, is really about the big scary word of surrender.
And actually, I was going to say that when you were talking, that kind of came in, was that I think there's two different ways you can approach this, of like this throwing in the towel. You can approach it in a way of like, I'm just going to surrender and I'm going to let go to God, to the universe, to whatever you want to believe, and then I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. And then I think there really is, I'm throwing in the towel and I'm done, and sticking with the negativity. I think there's two kind of paths. I think there really is a crossroads at that point to go, okay, how am I going to choose to throw in the towel right now? Am I going to just decide to kind of push through and keep moving forward, but also at the same time take my grasp? Because a lot of times that is what we have going on is that we have the grasp so tight on all of these things.
We have our valve just completely closed down to receiving.
And so
to manifesting anything.
It is going and relaxing into it. Or we can go, I'm throwing in the towel and kind of pick up all that negativity and take it with us. And I think there really is a choice point of like, how are you going to deal with that throwing in the towel? Per se.
And it really is, it's the fight or flight, I guess you could say, but it's flower flight type thing. Flower flight. Flower flight. That's what it is. It's flower flight. We can create a workshop on that. Flower flight.
I like it.
But it is. I mean, like you're either surrendering and just going with it, really releasing that knot in your hose, because that's kind of what it is. When we get to that point of that pressure, I mean, I've noticed, where am I shutting down in my life? I've got all this constriction going on that I've just subconsciously picked up along the way. So I'm like looking at these different things. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've constricted here. I've constricted here. So it's like my life is this great big hose. Think the hose out in the backyard, right? And it ends up in those knots and everything. And you're like pulling, and then all of a sudden your water's not going through the hose very well. But you got to release those knots. So you got to release the hose, because all that water pressure is building up in the hose. And what is that? That's that pressure that we feel in our life that's got us going, oh, how much more can I handle? Really, seriously? Well, it wouldn't nearly be the pressure that we're feeling. It would actually be more of a fluid flow through our life, where we're just letting it move through us. If we didn't knot up about it, which is that constriction. And normally that is what our belief structure. Something's happened where we're not believing, that we're worthy of it, or we don't believe that it actually will come through. We don't have the faith that God, the universe, has our back. We tend to just go, oh my gosh, and what do? We try to control the situation. Yeah. So the more control we're trying to do, that's how we knock things up, by trying to control it, is that naughtiness that we get.
It's that naughtiness thing. Awesome. Well, I think it is about control.
Everything is sexual with me too, but
I think it really is. It is the control, and I think we've done even videos on like that control and like letting go and all of that. But also it is that. So we feel that pressure, and we experience it and actually perceive it, because it just really is a perception. My hair is tweaking. Sorry, I'm like, my hair's tweaking. I'm having a girl moment. But I think we have this perception that this pressure is a negative. And it really is just a perception, because we could look at that as like, look at all the universe is like putting in my life to get me ready, to open me up, to expand me, to show me that there is so much trying to come in. Though that in those moments when our egos are going and we are just in it, that can be a hard kind of switch to flip, to go, okay, no, I'm going to see this as a positive. I'm going to see all this pressure as a positive. And so it is kind of eking and letting go of the control. And I don't think it's I'm going to completely let go of control. I know for myself, even, like, if I'm going to let go, I have to kind of unkink each of the knots a little bit, and then eventually the whole thing will, like, if I get a couple knots unclinched, we'll use that word, then many of the other knots, just like if you were getting a massage, like if you've got like a whole bunch of knots and you get a couple opened up, usually the entire knot will start to unravel.
Right, it softens the whole situation.
Yeah.
And that's really what's going on there, and that's that whole letting go process. But in the midst of it, there's also, don't just become a lazy butt and not do anything. So, it's like, if you're looking for, like, I have a daughter that's looking for a house right now. So her and her man and their 3 children are all at my house. So my house is like a kindergarten right this very second. It really is. There's 5 children under the age of 6 in my house as we speak. Well, actually, there's
no pressure
4.
there.
No pressure
No
there.
pressure there.
No pressure.
No
there.
naughtiness.
No pressure there. Right.
No kinks.
So there's like, there's no breathing space in my house right now, plus 3 dogs, and it's just like, and there's beauty to what I've been trying to do is I was like, well, there's beauty to this situation. Yes, there's all these extra bodies, there's all this extra stuff that has to be done in the house. My house is now, in my opinion, dirty. So like, vacuum 3 times a day. No.
That would be your control.
But at the same time, I looked at my daughter earlier, and I was just like, I'm choosing to look at this great. It's like I have a live-in nanny right this very second. Because she's in there, she cooked breakfast, she's went to the store, she was making lunch, she's got my little ones. I'm like, hey, I'm launching a business, I've got this going on with my coaching, I've got all the stuff that I need to get done over the next week. And in a way, I've kind of been gifted on top of it because I have, now I have like all this extra stuff, but I also have a little extra support for the given moment around that. And that's just that choosing to like, I don't have to control this situation or that situation. But as they're looking for a house, I've noticed her constraint around, like, she's, number one, she knows exactly what she wants in a house, which is beautiful, which is fantastic. She wants it right now, but when you look at their overall picture, they're about 3 weeks away from getting the house that they want. So I was like, okay, can we just, it's about just relaxing into that, but not giving up. So the not giving up in that situation, not becoming just lazy about it, she's not, is to just kind of like keep looking at houses, keep doing the things that you need, getting things in alignment. So making sure that you're still doing your 1, 2, 3s. I know as small business owners, we go through these phases where we're trying to control things, but if we try to work harder in those moments, that's the constraint that we get. It's like, well, I'm really doing this, I'm really doing that, but then you end up hating on what you're doing, which then causes this great big knot in your hose, and then next thing you know,
you're just adding knots. Then you're just
adding knots.
You're adding knots and
everything
constricting
dries
it down.
up, and it's just this massive pressure that you're feeling then. And once you start feeling that, it's like, don't give up on the 1, 2, 3, so that daily grind that you are doing. I don't like the word grind, but sometimes I like it. But
we are like talking something serious, and you bring the sexual component in. Sometimes,
you know what?
Yeah, sometimes
that
you like the
component
grind.
has a lot to do with everything. A good way to work out your knots
Is some good sex.
is good sex.
Okay.
It is.
It is. You're right. You're incredibly right.
Lots of good hormones.
I'm not going to disagree
your
with
body
that.
opens and,
Yes.
and you get into the receiving mode and everything
Mhm.
like that. You see, that was a very clean way to discuss
Yes.
that.
Sex.
So, when you said the word all over, I'm not even saying it. Huh. I'm being clean. Being completely clean. But no. Completely.
Alrighty.
But no, we're doing the daily grind. We're doing the daily grind. That whole
hustle.
thing. But to do it in a relaxed fashion. It's not that I have to do this to make money. It's more that you're just doing it because, it's like you drink water every single day. You go to the restroom every single day. You're not like, oh man, I really gotta go to the restroom. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna okay, I'm walking to the restroom now. This is such a hassle. Oh my god. You're right. I know that's why am I bringing up the restroom? Because it's one of those things that it is just.
No, I know it, but I'm like, that would be awful. Like,
we just go, right? It's like, no, this need comes to us, and then we just go.
Yes.
And it's just part of the natural
flow
of the natural religion.
It's like, hello, my personal space. My personal space. Do we need boundaries? Video? No.
We're on my side.
That's okay. My side now. I think though that you're right. You're completely right with the element of, I forgot what I was saying.
At the bathroom.
Not the bathroom. Oh, the hustle, like that grind and hustle. I think it's not even the grind and the hustle that you're doing. You're falling back on your basics. And so this is when you really need to get true with, like, what are the basics? What are the things that you do every single day and you've made almost part of who you are? Because that is when you fall back on those basics and you give yourself a little bit of breathing room. because you don't want to be necessarily hustling in these moments, because like you said, you're going to create a bigger kind of issue for you to deal with, and you're going to actually add more negativity, because if you're continuing to kind of push on things that are just not going to budge in that moment because of your mindset, because of your ego, just because that energy, you're just going to keep adding to that energy. And so that is a time to kind of, and I think we talked about this in the last video, of like switching your focus a little bit, giving yourself a little bit of breathing room.
It's those squirrel moments. It's the perfect time to go do something that there is ease around. So, you know, I was having a really, 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 really negative moment the other day. And you know how much I take naps. Like, I'm not a napper. I don't take naps. I don't. I get up in the morning and I blow and go all day long until whenever I go to sleep. And I came into the house and I felt so negative, and my head was hurting, and I had all this tension, and I was just overload of stress, felt completely overwhelmed. And I had a list of 1,000 things that I needed to get accomplished on top of it. And I was just like, I got to do this. But the thing was that I caught myself in that moment, and I went, if I sit down and do my emails right now, or I try to write an article right now, or I go do this, or I do that, what am I actually, even though I might get the words correct, my energy attachment to those words as it's being sent out is going to be so negative that it's a waste of my time and energy in this moment. So what I did was I actually sat down on the couch, and I turned on the TV, which I never do. I turned on the TV, and I just snuggled up in the corner of my couch, and next thing I knew, I was out. I fell asleep, and I was out for like an hour, but I woke up going, wow. And I thought, the very first thing when I thought was like, okay, wow, that actually felt good. That felt good. And so my energy completely switched around. Everything else, guess what? I still did not get my list of 1,000 things done, which I wouldn't have done anyways. That hour would not have gotten my list done.
No.
It just would have kept me in that groove of that negativity. So I opted to do something that I never do, which is like that little squirrel moment of this, like, how can a nap do that? Well, a nap is a great reset point. It just is.
Which is what throwing a towel in is like that reset point. Or it can be. Or it can be you continuing to create such negativity that...
Because you're spiraling down.
You're spiraling.
I'm done. I'm worthless. I'm pathetic. I'm blah, blah, blah.
Creating more programs and all that stuff. And then really you do get to a point where I know I've noticed in clients and stuff, like there are people who really do give up. They're like, and then there are those people like, I tend to not. I tend to actually push through actually on things that I probably should give up on at times. And it's like, okay, I should probably just like give up on this. Like, but there, like I said at the very beginning, there are those kind of two roads of like truly giving up on your dreams, your goals, things you really, your heart's in, your energy is in, that you truly do want, just because you have created such a negative kind of place. Or there is that like throwing in the towel, but really just for a moment, just going, I'm going to refocus. I'm going to stop this energy right now. And throwing in the towel of the negative energy you're creating. So, yeah. And I think also when I thought of this topic, I really wanted to share that the truth is we all get into this place. I think it's easy for us. I read something the other day, I scrolled past it on Facebook about, I spent a lot of time scrolling on Facebook, but I saw this one, and it was about, like, the positivity of, like, spirituality, and how, yes, there's all these positive, like, push forward, do what you gotta do, like, kind of butt-kicking, happy butt-kicking stuff, but the truth is, that would be a lie. That would be us lying to ourselves. That would be us not seeing the other side of ourselves if we always were, no, I have to always be happy. And if we didn't sit here, myself and you, and go, no, sometimes like we're not happy. And that's a beautiful contrast to go, sometimes I'm not happy, and it shows me all the places I still need to grow, and I need to still expand, and actually makes the moments that are like super amazing, I'm going to keep it clean. Super amazing, even more amazing because there is that contrast. And then it is that growth of like, no, like, see, I made it through that. I pushed through. I expanded. I grew. I didn't give up. Those moments.
No.
And so I know when we chose this topic, I was just like, I want to share the fact that sometimes, yes, I won't give up. And I'm going to throw you under the bus. I know sometimes you're just like, I want to give up on whatever it is. Because there's...
Crap, I quit everything. Frequently.
Once a week.
Frequently.
I quit once a week.
No, frequently. I go, that's it. I'm just done. I'm done. Yeah. Like, I'll throw the towel in on my relationships, on my practice, on even on like health and nutrition stuff. Because I'll just be like, I'll just get into like, oh, is it really worth it? And I have this, all those old programs and doubt and fear, self-sabotage stuff kick in. And then I hear this bull in my head just telling me, like, all of this negativity. And there's this piece in me for a half a second, sometimes a day or a week even, where I just like, I get caught in it. And I just get caught in that. And I just go, oh, this is like really, and then, I feel myself doing this. And then all of a sudden, my senses come back. And I go, oh, girl, that's not true. That's not true. Now pull your head out of your butt right now and let go. Put your head down where you need to put your head down. Keep doing, like, come back. It's just, it's kind of like, it feels, to me, what it feels like is like in those moments, I feel like I've been drowning and I've gotten all this water in my lungs. And all of a sudden, I finally figured out which way was up to the air. And I popped up on that and I'm like hacking up my lungs now, right? I'm like, and all the water's spewing out of my lungs and everything. And it hurts. Mm-hmm. It hurts. But as soon as you get that opportunity where you go like that, it's like, oh wow, there's life up here. There's life. I've survived that spiral down. I've survived that being pulled down. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that we're pulling ourselves down, and most of the stuff that we're facing is not even externally brought onto
up
us.
In here. It's all up
right.
in here.
It starts here, and then we start looking for it, and of course it just comes to us. All of a sudden, right? It's like, yeah,
we're amazing manifestors. We are amazing manifestors, so we're just pulling in what we want. Or don't want.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden you got crappy, you get hit every red light. When you would have hit the green ones, now you're hitting every red light. You hit traffic jams, you get a crappy service at the restaurant, they mess up your order, this happens, whatever it is, it's those little things. And then you're like, you see, of course, the universe isn't supporting me. Somebody just ran into my car with a grocery cart. That's not supporting me. What does that mean? It's like that kind of stuff. And you just start piling on in that.
And I think also, like, I heard somebody that we both look up as a mentor talking the other day about also, if it's really worth it, the fact is your stuff is going to come up. If your stuff isn't coming up, then you're probably, there's probably an area you're not stepping in fully. Because anything, if you're especially as like entrepreneurs, or if you have like this big dream or goal or that you really want, if you're not being faced with kind of your ego stuff and all your programs, then you're most likely not really pushing as hard as you could be pushing as far as your growth eventually. Because I know that, like, there was 5 years ago, you had me doing some work and stuff, and I remember it was like a couple months, and I was like, I quit. I think I quit every once a week. I would send an email saying I quit, and then it was all the reason I quit. And then at the end of the email, I go, I don't really quit, but I quit for the moment. And that's okay too, to go, I quit for this moment.
Oh, yeah.
And then in 5 minutes, I'm going to not quit. I'm going to be back on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I think it's important to sometimes just allow yourself to step into that pity party, that poor me, and just go there and like really just kind of bathe in your own muck, so that you can go, damn, this stinks.
And I don't really want this.
And this does not feel good. And this is not the life that I want. And this is not how I want to be perceived. And this is not how I want to, look at myself and all that kind of stuff. But until you really just, because if you have had any taste of success, any taste of love, of, you know, joy, bliss in your life on any level, abundance in your life on any level, then there is that little piece, that little fruit is always there. So no matter how dark the seas can be, you still have that little bit of light. You're like, man, I do know what that feels like. So when you allow yourself to really get taken down in that, it's just like, that's a whole drowning analogy. You know what it feels like to breathe. And if you're not breathing, and
you're missing the breath,
then you are missing it. And it's in that missing that we really decide what we want. That clarity comes in of, no, this is what I want. This is what the life I want to have, the choices that I want to make. And if you're just vast in all this crap, I was like, well, oh, there it is. It's over there. And so it gives you something to shoot for. But you're never going to really fully, I mean, I think that a lot of the stuff that happens, I know that when I'm flying high, I kind of get caught in my high. And in that high, I will get to a point that I'm not taking it, I'm taking it for granted. I'm not necessarily in a complete, total state of appreciation. So it's just like I had this touch of this bug that came up the other day, you know? And I always say, well, number one, it's because I've been blowing and going and I haven't been giving myself enough downtime. I haven't been, you know, TLC time enough for me and everything. So it's that. There's that awareness of slow down. But at the same time, there is the awareness of, oh wow, this is, you don't, right now you don't have the energy to do this. You don't have the energy to do that. So I'm actually more appreciative of last week when I did have the energy and I was like, shh, like that. So there's more appreciation there. Yeah. And I think that any time that we have to have that contrast in life so that we can really truly step in and, number one, know what we want and appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I agree. I think that kind of sums it up really well, honestly. So it's okay to have those moments to throw in the towel, that you want to throw in the towel, and it's okay to give yourself a little bit of a break. And it is okay to give up. It is your choice to truly, truly give up. I don't recommend it. I would really do some soul searching before you truly throw the towel in on something that you really desire and listen to your ego. But it's okay to have that moment of going like, I just want to, this is where I'm at, and truly own, here's where I'm at, and knowing, and have that faith that, like, you're not always going to be there, but it's okay to own that right now and go, okay, yes, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to move forward eventually, but I'm going to take a moment to just be where I'm at.
I think that a key point there, because as you were saying that, I was like, there's one little piece that I don't think we touched on. Throwing in the towel, it is like that, the I quit, right? The firm I quit. And if we firmly say, I'm done, I quit, I really do throw in the towel, not just throwing in the towel to let go of this baggage and to be able to tap back into flow in some fashion. But when we do make that conscious decision of I quit something, I think that there is definitely that is part of the letting go and the flow process. Because there are things that we do need to quit on.
Yeah.
I mean, working with people all the time, I see numerous relationships
that need to quit.
That need to firmly quit.
Yep.
And you can't just go, well, I'm just going to see how it goes for another 20 years and da-da-da. Yep. Because that is not, that's just being completely passive and not making a decision. To be in flow does not mean that you're not making a decision. And that's the piece that I want to hit on here, is that it's not about not making a decision. Being in flow actually means that you gain the clarity and the direction to make clear decisions in your life, and you're making them from a soul level, not from the ego level. Not so if you're quitting on, we'll take the relationship, you're not quitting on the relationship because you're just mad at your partner and they did this and they really hurt you and you're bitter and you're this. It's that you really truly feel that this contract with this other human being is done and it is just time for you to move on. And so you are moving on in flow, in a state of releasing it to move on. It's not just a severing, stopping point, over, done, you hurt me, F you, and boom.
Ego.
Right. There's a completely different energy there, and you can do that. Like, I mean, that's the same case of people moving jobs, changing houses, looking at.
It's not an alignment. It's not an alignment.
It's just right. Alignment is knowing when you are in alignment. That is all about having a clear decision of yes or no, and always being a yes to self, not saying, oh yeah, sure, I'll stay in this, but that's a no to self.
Yeah.
So that's like, that's part of the process there.
Yeah, so sometimes it is okay to quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not saying don't quit on things that
That's
you really need to quit on.
It is that clearness, but for the most part, there is that feeling of, I'm just going to throw in the towel and I'm done. Like, I got to go take a shower.
I'm too overwhelmed.
I'm too overwhelmed, and like that, and that can really come into the beating up, the self-sabotage, the pity party stuff that we can get into, and it's okay to do that. It is. Mm-hmm. It's just if you are habitually doing it, that you have to look at. So, yeah. Okay, now I'm done with my point.
It was a good point, and it is. It actually was a really good point. So thank you for adding that.
What do we have going on?
We have a workshop that will be coming out in the next probably few days. I don't want to fully announce the date.
We can announce the title.
Yeah. Well, a second.
We don't have the date.
Yeah, the date. We're looking at 2 dates right now.
Because we're looking at locations. So we're trying to figure out the location. It will be in the Frisco, McKinney, Plano area, though.
Yes, it will be in the North DFW area. But it's called Seeing the Other Side, an experiential journey into your sex. And it's actually a workshop, and kind of we're pulling together different techniques and different things that are seen nowhere else in the United States. Like, you will never get this workshop with anybody else. You won't. It is completely unique to us and our work, and you won't even get a lot of these modalities anywhere else. Like, it just is.
And the cool thing I think about this is that a lot of the modalities that we're going to be going through, we don't even do with our coaching clients.
No, we don't.
So this is going to be one of those workshops that I would say that if you're one of our clients, you want to come to this workshop because
you haven't learned it.
You have not learned this yet.
And it can skyrocket your growth. All this stuff can truly skyrocket your growth, because we're going to get you into the different side of your brain. We're going to get you processing through your sexuality and your internal stuff. More, well, also laughing and connecting with others, because it is all experiential. It's a group. It's gonna be freaking amazing. I was up super late last night because I was like thinking, and I was like, oh, we can do this, and we're gonna do this, and let's do it this way. I was excited about the workshop. So look out for that, because that information will be coming out in the next day or two, and that is the announcements for my business currently. I don't have any. That's my main workshop for my coaching clients.
Yeah, and I don't have anything coaching that is coming, a workshop that's coming out right now, just because I launched a new company.
Yeah.
So I launched a new company, so I do have a workshop on that.
Company.
Yeah, she's part of it. Yeah, everybody needs a Robin. Robin. I'm gonna get you a little Robin.
I need a shirt that says Robin.
I'm gonna get
but
Batgirl.
You should be like, I'm Batman, I'm Robin.
Yeah. No, so I'm not gonna make an announcement about that right now. No. That's just gonna come out on other stuff. Yeah. I've been caught up in business launching and becoming a grandmother. So,
yay.
Or a Mimi. I'm going with
a Mimi.
I'm going with a Mimi. Yes.
And then yes, creating this amazing workshop that truly is.
So we've got the joint workshop coming out. I'm sure that I will have something online coming out here in the next couple weeks. I just have not really nailed anything down because I just haven't had the creative flow going that direction. It's been going in a couple other ways. But seeing the other side.
The other side.
Experiential journey into your sex. And that's towards the end of the month, I think, is what we're looking
towards the
at.
end of March.
Like the third week of March is kind of what we're pinpointing there. So that will come out in the next couple days, and we'll have that all out to everybody. So yeah.
But stay up with our videos, our articles, all our writings on both of our websites. Couldn't even say my name.
Would you like me to do it for you?
No, I got it. AddisonBell.net. Thank you.
You're welcome.
AddisonBell.net.
You gotta do it. Give it a
.net.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Now make your website all fancy.
I can't. It's just KenWilliams.com. It's not fancy. It's just
Not
is.
net.
It just is. See.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It was great seeing you guys, and please share, like, help us get this content out there. Help us help more people. So
Share the content. Hit the share button, and we will catch you in a couple weeks with another Free Spirit Talks.
bye guys.